Okay, and then I will share video.
Sisters Not Strangers just sums up the whole meaning of who we are.
It's a coalition of 7 organizations, so we're spread across the UK, campaigning against any hostility around women.
SNS, Sisters Not Strangers. Already to me, that means we know each other, we share our moments, we come together and think together as one.
SNS for me is a good coalition that bring women together to fight for their right, to fight for fairer asylum-seeking process.
We are there for people who don't have voices, asylum seekers and refugees, to speak for them.
SNS for me, I see love, I see togetherness, I see women who are committed to social justice.
A wonderful, unique forum that brings together women's voices from across England and from Wales.
Swansea Women Asylum and Refugee Group is part of the coalition, and it's been amazing being part of the coalition because we challenge the hostile environment and we hold the government accountable to ensure that all the policies they make are suitable for women and children.
I'm an activist. I think when I was young until now I'm an activist. So I always fight for women's rights, and I started by fighting for my own right.
I'm Bosede Adufeoluwole. I'm a member of Refugee Women Connect Advocates.
My name is Mariam Yusuf. I would describe myself as a very loving woman.
My name is Ibtisam. I'm the director of Dewa Project Sheffield. I'm the coordinator of SNS.
My name is Mason. I'm a mother, a volunteer, and an activist.
My name is Comfort Etim. I am a director for advocacy at Refugee Women Connect, a part of Sisters Not Strangers coalition.
I'm Agnes Dano, coming from Ivory Coast. I'm a campaigner against detention. I fled political persecution. I was a diplomat, so I have to go from forest to Ghana before arriving here.
I'm Lorraine Masi Mponera. I do many things. I'm a community organizer, I'm a writer, I'm also an activist.
Sisters Not Strangers, we are women with the lived experience of the asylum system in the UK.
I ask of members' well-being. I love all of them because they care for me and I'm learning from them.
Have compassion for people who fled their country for any reason. It can be persecution, political issue, it can be custom, but give freedom to them.
I love dancing, so I like to organize dancing people because I work the dementia people in my group. So we take them to dancing, we dance to help them improve their condition.
I realized that therapy and counselors were so important, along with all the support that women give to each other.
We're campaigners. We do this by influencing other women with lived experience.
Advocate for asylum seekers because I used to be asylum myself before, so I know what it means.
It's not right for people who are asking for security protection and find themselves in detention like it happened to me. I was detained in Yazoo.
I like to listen to people when they talk and just hear what they have to share. It may be good or bad. I take my time to understand so that I'm able to support a person, and that makes me feel useful because I go on a journey with a person in their feelings.
I'm a Black African woman, and I'm passionate about everything I do, about seeing things working for women. A lot of policies are being made without taking women and children into consideration.
I am passionate about mental health, which has led me to be a counsellor, and now I'm training to be a psychotherapist.
I've been involved with women asylum seekers since 2006, and I have been enormously enriched by the experience.
I'm creative, ambitious, and hardworking. I'm looking forward to re-establish myself as a social entrepreneur.
I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children, and I enjoy spending time with my family, campaigning, and playing football.
My message is to give freedom to people.
We are campaigning for asylum seekers and refugee women to be treated with dignity.
It is especially important that women from our coalition get this mental health support, because these are the same women who are providing support for other women in their circles, in their communities. I have made it my commitment to provide support for other women who have come through a background of persecution and abuse.
We are diverse and different in our own ways, but we come together and think together as one.
I think we have achieved to influence other women to join us.
I can see progress. I can see a future. I can see something special in the future.
Safe haven, family, unity, that's what SNS means to me, and I believe it means to all of the members too. Thank you. This is us, SNS, Sisters Not Strangers, and a big thank you to Jeni and the media. We used to call ourselves media team, and now we call ourselves like more professional, like communication, whatever, like more fancy title. But we recorded this in Sheffield when we had our retreat and the strategy training as well. So all these recorded at Novotel Hotel. So and during our lunch, our dinner, I think. So yeah, this is us. And now over to Jeni, and I will be quiet. You're not going to hear. So over to you, Jeni.
Well, as you can see from that video, one of the big issues that we identified as key to the experience of seeking asylum is mental health. And that's become one of our main foci as a group. Can you hear me? Yeah, thanks. So I because we're already starting to run a bit late, but so we start off, this panel, this speaker is trying to take different perspectives. All the information about our wonderful speakers are on both the Facebook page and also on the Eventbrite page. So we'll start off by having an outline of the issue relating to providing mental health support from Jill, then follow on with youth perspectives from Sandy, followed by local government, and leading to the detention system and the impact that it has on people's mental health. So Jill, without more ado, Jill is from the African Community Centre in Swansea. Would you like to talk and explain?
Yes, of course. And it's my privilege to be here with you. My first time, actually. So exciting. And I can see lots of women on here and the wonderful work that you do within Sisters Not Strangers. So I thought perhaps give a quick introduction about our work. We were founded in 2004, actually, in the front room of our founder, and I joined with her to set up the African Community Centre. And in 2008, we became a charity. And before that, I did quite a bit of work, fundraising, that sort of thing. And then I started to meet women, mostly women at that time, actually. And I realized these women, they sometimes can they can present, they can look quite down. They often didn't smile. There was obviously something going on for them. And I thought, I'm wondering if these women are suffering from depression, from anxiety, from isolation, from trauma. And actually that led me to to sign up to become a counsellor. So I spent 4 years doing that in order to help initially other women, and then broadened the arena within counselling. And in 2010, I graduated and I went for some funding to start a counselling project in the African Community Centre, working with women. And that was 2010, we had our first tranche of funding for traumatised asylum-seeking women in Swansea. And that was funded by Comic Relief. And a bit of a miracle, I think, we ended up getting 7 years funding from Comic Relief to continue counselling, not just for women, I might add, but for men as well. So it is an issue, the funding side of things, in order to pay counsellors, but somehow we've managed to do that. And I can see Jeni already stroking her cat, soothing herself maybe. But anyway, so that's the kind of bit of a background to our work. And I'm keeping an eye on my watch, which I forgot to do at the start. But anyway, I think I've probably got about 5 or 6 minutes left. So we have a couple of projects working with asylum-seeking children, young people, women, and men. So I'm going to talk specifically about women that I counsel. So currently we're funded by Swansea Bay University Health Board. So that's an offshoot of the NHS. We have 8 counsellors. We have 2 of them are volunteers, one of them being on placement. So we would give an opportunity for somebody in the last year to come along and experience. We have to be very careful because the work that we are doing, we can say it's really on the edge of counselling. So extreme, I would say, a lot of the time. So it's so important to make sure that our counsellors are safe in order to keep our women safe. So probably a lot of you will know the foundations of counselling. It's confidential. It's non-judgmental. It's empathic. And a word that some of you may not know, congruent. So it's about the counsellor themselves being themselves, being real in their behaviours and how they work. I was trained as a person-centred counsellor, so I'm actually trying to be in my client's shoes, feeling what they are feeling. So the foundations of counselling are that ethically the counsellor must be DBS checked, must have insurance in order to practice, and they must belong to something like the umbrella organisation, the BACP, the British Association of Counsellors and Psychotherapists. So we insist on all of our counsellors having all of that in place before we would take them on. Very, very, very important. And for me, I believe actually that the first person that you meet in the organisation flavours the whole organisation. So I would want to see, if I were coming in as a client, I would want the first person I met to be welcoming, to have an active listening ear, and to kind of exude empathy, I suppose. And another area is compassion. So when I first started, I was really nervous. And I lots of feelings that counsellors might have. I'm not good enough. That was rubbish. But actually, surprisingly, my clients came back. So that's one indication that you're doing something right. Your clients keep coming back. They come back for more and more and more. So moving on swiftly, what are the challenges? Now, you may or you may not know that we have to have interpreters in place in order for the woman to be heard. We range from people who are speaking, women who are speaking Tamil, women who are speaking Punjabi, women who are speaking Farsi, Dari, Pashto, French. Oh, I can't mention them all. So we have a group of counsellors, a sort of small group that we've had specially trained within our organisation. And at this point, I just want to mention a book that some of you might like to read if you are in the counselling profession. And it's called Mother Tongue. Beg your pardon, it's called Other Tongues. And it's by Dr. Beverly Costa. And it's an amazing book. So, what are the challenges within the counselling profession when we're dealing with women from various ethnic minority backgrounds and asylum seekers, refugees in particular? Well, I've mentioned the language barrier, and sometimes if a woman is able to speak English but may prefer to do some of the work in her lingua franca, that's her native language, we would provide an interpreter. Sometimes women, the research hasn't really proved anything in regard to which language they use, but it is and it can be an issue. So the second thing I want to mention is stigma around mental health. You know, a lot of cultures will keep mental health within the family because of shame around it. So a client might come in and be very nervous and wonder what is going to happen? What's going to happen to me in this room? So we have to be very aware of stigma that is attached and work very gently, remembering that what we're trying to do is build trust within the counselling room. And that means that the counsellor has to be a bit, I'm not sure the word special is right, but I believe that all our counsellors are special because we kind of handpick them. So I've talked about stigma, I've talked about language. I also want to mention how difficult it can be when the third person is in the room, so the interpreter. Bearing in mind, we are trying to build a relationship, two people who are strangers, trying to build a relationship. Bringing in a third person into the room can be very tricky because the counsellor may not know, are they actually interpreting properly? And you get a sense of this as you experience this. It becomes easier, I would say. And I have to say that most of our interpreters are fantastic. We have to remember that sometimes an interpreter might feel that they are running this session, but actually the counsellor is running this session. And so we have to use a kind of gentle authority to make that work well. You must keep your interpreter safe, just as you keep your client safe. So you check in with your interpreter beforehand and afterwards to make sure that they are okay. Also have to keep myself safe by having regular supervision, as all of our counsellors do, and that's an expensive part of counselling. If I am carrying what's called vicarious trauma, I need to deal with that. It can really affect my life. So I could end up having nightmares. I may not be able to differentiate between work and home life. I might feel confused. I may feel incompetent. Those are things that you might carry if you have vicarious trauma. So keeping yourself safe is very, very important. Knowing about culture, and we're learning all the time. And I think I can see Jeni waving her hand. So I'm going to try to bring this to an end. I also want to say that having the money to continue is super important. Counselling changes lives. I'm going to stop there, Jeni. I've probably gone on too long. I could go on forever, but there we go. That's me done.
Well, I think it's very, very helpful, and thank you very much, Jill.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that whole issue of vicarious trauma is something that everyone is involved in this field is constantly worried about. Where are you, Sandy? So without more ado, Sandy, who has been through umpteen things and achieved amazing things, and yes, Sandy.
Hi everyone, just like Jeni said, I'm Sandy Ibrahim. Thank you for having me here today. A past member of the Welsh Youth Parliament and a contributor to a UNICEF publication on youth mental health. Today, just briefly, I'll speak about the challenges young asylum seekers mainly face, as well in looking into while looking after their well-being. I'll also speak about the difficulties of having to translate for the families and the impact of feeling excluded from decision-making, and how community support, collaboration, and advocacy can help them build resilience through their times. So when I arrived in the UK, I barely spoke English, but thankfully a year later I got the chance to be part of the Welsh Youth Parliament, and genuinely that changed me a lot. Not only because I got to represent these young people, asylum seekers, refugees, or even young people in general, but because I saw how much powerful it is when someone truly listens to you and shows you that they actually do listen to you. For many young asylum seekers, life in a new country is not just about learning a new language or let me just go to school and that's it. It's about trying to find a place where they belong, and most of the time it's a new place because they just moved to a country. Many of them have already been through difficult experiences before arriving here, and that's whether from a war or like violence or having to leave their home behind. But at the same time, once they arrive here, it's not like their struggle and challenges will stop all of a sudden. It's when, in most cases, it becomes even harder. So one of the biggest struggles is mental health, which we are discussing today. And many of these young people are dealing with stress, fear, and being unsure about their future or what's going to happen to them within days or months. So they're often separated from family members, worrying about what will happen to them. But some of them have to grow up way too fast than what their ages are. So, and that's mainly because having to take responsibilities that no young person should have to carry. So, for example, one of these responsibilities that I want to touch on is interpreting to their families. So imagine being a young person and then having to explain important legal papers, medical appointments, or even financial issues to your parents. Not only it is difficult, but it's also a lot of pressure of how am I going to say this to my parents. It could be anything. And one of the main things that have been going through their minds is what if they get something wrong, or what if they didn't understand the full meaning of what have been sent to them, or what if their parents are basically relying on them to tell them something like bad news. So this kind of responsibility can genuinely cause a lot of stress and anxiety for adults ourselves, or at the same time as a teenager, which is even worse. Young asylum seekers don't just translate words, but they translate emotions, they translate problems, they translate fears. They're expected to be a bridge between their parents, their family, and a system that they barely know themselves and they've just moved into. The stress adds on to the challenges of settling, obviously, into a new place, while other young people their age mainly focus on school, on making new friends, on planning their future. Many of these young people spend time worrying about their legal decisions, if they're going to stay here, their home office interviews, or even filling out complicated documents. So, and even yet, though they take on so much responsibility, young people often they're left out from the most important decisions of their own lives, decisions about their legal status, obviously, and then where they will live in the future, or what support do they need, are often made for them rather than with them, and that makes a huge difference to them. So this can be honestly incredibly frustrating. Imagine being told where you're going to be living the day after, but not actually having a say into it, which causes them a lot of stress. Or how am I going to go settle into that place all of a sudden? What's going to happen there? Many things that go through any young person's life. When I was in the Welsh Youth Parliament, I had the chance to listen to many young asylum seekers and refugees as well. And one of the things that I noticed, how much they wanted to be heard, not ignored, not treated like a problem and headache, but actually listened to. Many of these young people, biggest challenge is the language barrier, which is because they've just moved into this country. And yes, learning English can be difficult, but the real problem isn't just speaking English. It's about feeling like you are actually be accepted on the way that you speak, especially having a specific accent at the time because you've just learned the language, or into many different reasons. Many of them do feel unheard as well, and in some cases they are actually unheard, which is really sad, and they shouldn't be feeling this way. But it's only because most people will just sit opposite them, nod their heads, and pretend that they listen, but they're not really engaged in the conversation. This makes them feel like their voices don't matter, like no matter how hard they try, they won't be seen as equal anytime soon. This makes them feel isolated as well as anxious and even afraid to speak up again once they go through this, which is the saddest thing that any young person could go through. But the true thing about young asylum seekers is that they do have important things to say, and they do have experiences, ideas, and even dreams like any other young person, and they all deserve to be heard. That's why community support is so important. Having people who listens, who care, and who make space for young people to share their thoughts and make a huge difference in their mental health. It helps them feel less alone, as well as it gives them hope. When I was in the Welsh Youth Parliament, I saw how powerful it is when a young person felt truly listened to. I didn't just assume I knew what they needed. I asked questions and I made sure that they had space to express their feelings or like express themselves. I didn't interrupt, oh yes, I've been through this, or I know how it is. I didn't interrupt them, but at the same time I just sat there and listened to them, which honestly made a big difference. Listening is not just about hearing words, it's about showing young people that what they say, honestly, it matters. So in my case, I would listen to them, I would ask them questions adding to what they've just said, and as well as then representing them to the government, which honestly made them feel that they were valued. Whatever they said actually was gonna change through time. And at the same time, resilience is not just about pushing through difficult times alone, it's about having support. It's about knowing that when you speak, someone will actually hear you. I think Jeni is waving as well. Just so I close up, I'll just say governments could get rather than just for them. Working with them is a big difference than just working for them. And yeah, listening to them, it's important. Thank you.
Thank you, lovely Sandy. And I think what's really evident is that give someone the chance, and like Sandy, she's flying to the moon now. She's just doing so many things. It's amazing. Really, I'm so proud of her. So now we come to Angela, who will take, I think we've come from that. We're going to a wider scheme now, looking more at the system at a local level. So Angela, where are you?
Hi everybody, thank you. Yeah, it's really a real privilege to be here, and thank you Ebtisam for inviting me. I also have the privilege of working with Ebtisam at City of Sanctuary Sheffield, so that is my day job, but I'm also a councillor, a different kind of councillor, start with a C. So I'm an elected politician on Sheffield City Council, and I have responsibility for adult health and social care in the council. So I'm the lead member for adult health and social care, which also includes most of public health. So I also chair the Health and Wellbeing Board, which is a statutory body, and it's a partnership with the NHS, between the NHS, the local authority, and the voluntary sector, and lots of other anchor organisations. So as you can imagine, I have a lot of very difficult conversations all the time about the system that we operate in. I've been involved with City of Sanctuary Sheffield since 2017. I was a trustee first for 6 years, and then I became an employee of the charity in 2023. So because my passion lies in social justice, I take that into my political role. So because of my personal interest and because of the kind of senior role that I have in the council, I've been able to influence quite a lot, very quietly and subtly, and bringing the issues of asylum, the asylum system and refugees into very kind of strategic and high, conversations in the council. So for example, one of the groups I'm part of and I attend is the Health Work Stream of the Refugee and Asylum and Migration Strategic Partnership, which is basically a group that comprises practitioners from the NHS, officers from Sheffield City Council, voluntary sector organisation, including one of my colleagues from City of Sanctuary, and I attend with another colleague as a politician. So we all discuss practical operational things of how to smooth the very complex and complicated systems, because you can imagine local authority and the NHS that are two of the organizations that people seeking asylum have to deal with whilst they go through their journey, and then when they get refugees, they are massive organizations and they can be really difficult to navigate. Even for people that know the system, that can be difficult. But when you've gone through the trauma of being on that asylum system, things become even harder, because as Jill said, you need support in terms of counselling, mental health, and this can be, even harder for women because their experience, their trauma can be mental, but can often is also physical, of the physical trauma that they've encountered on their journey. So I agree with Sandy. Listening is very important, and listening to the stories. One of the things I'm most proud about is the fact that Sheffield was the first City of Sanctuary. It's where City of Sanctuary movement started, and we use that as a local authority. We use that title as a badge of honour, and because of myself and other people that are very passionate about being a City of Sanctuary, we can keep officers and other politicians to account and saying, if we are a City of Sanctuary, who cannot behave like this. So because I'm also the deputy leader of my political group, which is the Green Party, I have managed to, at the highest level possible, I have managed to have commitment from the leadership of the council as a whole, so all the parties and the chief exec, that we are, for example, having a corporate approach to how we treat people with no cost public funds. This was on the back of a very, very 2 or 3 cases of casework that were very difficult, where there were 3 separate women that were discharged from hospital, sent to housing, and then thrown out with nobody taking charge of them. And these were 3 women with no cost to public funds. So because we are a city of sanctuary, I have asked the chief exec to have a strategic approach in all our departments so that we treat people like people and not like a label. I said, I don't care about the Social Care Act. I don't care about the Housing Act. What I care about is how do we treat these people as, in terms of human rights and social justice, and we cannot wash our hands of them. So we are looking at that, and we have introduced trauma-informed training for all our frontline staff in housing and in social care, so that they can better empathize and understand when they are faced with people that have very traumatic experiences. I also sit on the Sheffield Adult Safeguarding Board, so I've been able to bring the voice and advocate for asylum seekers and refugees in that forum as well. And it is all about representation. So if any of you women want to stand for local elections, the more of us that can advocate for people, not because you necessarily I have absolutely no political ambition, and I was selected to stand for election just because I was an activist, a human rights activist. We need more people at local level that can, support others. So I think I said more or less everything I wanted to say, and 7 minutes on my stopwatch have gone.
That's brilliant. Wow. I think this is really interesting, isn't it? To see both what's available and how people can support people, and also from within the experience of that. So we finished with our final speaker, who is someone who's had a horrific experience of the system from within, but is also a major activist seeking to change this. So, Maggie, would you like to start? Please?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie. I work for Right to Remain, and I'm the organizer for These Walls Must Fall from Manchester and Liverpool. A little bit of intro about Right to Remain. We do legal education on the asylum system. I'm sure some of you, you're familiar with the toolkit, which we call a lifesaver for the communities that are still seeking asylum. And we're going nationally giving legal education and updating people about the changes in the asylum system, obvious working with the local solicitors and other organizations who have experience in the law and migration issues. So from there on, when everyone was doing that, people who had lived experience appreciated the toolkit, but they felt like they can be doing something while they're waiting for their cases, while Right to Remain is doing legal education. And this is where I come in, where people with lived experience felt they needed a space to really speak about the system and everything that they're going through, while they appreciate the legal part of the sector. So I think my introduction in depth will go towards the end of the session because it can take long. I've put a timer for myself. So with this Walls Must Fall, every year we kind of look at what we want to campaign on or what we really want to echo. And when these Walls Must Fall started, we were only focusing on ending detention, but then things changed because every member in the organization was facing different types of hostile environment, and we had to focus on different levels of hostile environment. But then this year and last year, we were focusing on ending detention and abolish reporting, whereby what can we do instead of sitting back and complaining about all these issues? What can we do? So that is where in my role I have myself been reporting for more than 6 years. I understand the fear and the anxiety that comes with it. I would say in a week where everyone had 7 days, I only had 5 because the 2 other days I had to mentally prepare myself that I'm going to the reporting center. I might not come back. I might be detained. So it crashes everything. I was attending counseling for my own personal challenges and the reasons why I fled my country. But then at the same time, I had to face this hostile policy that Home Office had brought on the table. So unlike some of my friends, I would say I finished up stronger because I would identify things that I felt they were not right during the reporting time when I was reporting, and I would speak up. But I have so many of my friends who could not speak up and who had to solely rely on antidepressant or any other form of medication because they could not stand the process that came with it. So hence I decided, after I was granted my refugee status, that this is the sector where I want to be. I want to be a voice of those who are oppressed. I want to speak for women. I want to change the system. I want to challenge the system. Like I say, that it's not usually the case. I've had so many friends who have PhDs, with other degrees, who have failed in the system. They've got their refugee status, but they cannot do anything. That is just a good example of what hostile environment or what mental health can do to you. So with that said, I just wrote a short blog for International Women's Day that I'll also share. I'll just read it through. So I wrote that as we mark International Women's Day under the theme of acceleration action, I cannot help but wonder, how do we accelerate change for the women who are most marginalized, most silenced, and most forgotten? The women seeking sanctuary are fighting battles every single day. Battles not just for their right to stay in this country, but for their dignity, their safety, and their mental health. For many, the trauma does not begin when they arrive here. It started long before. They fled war, persecution, and gender-based violence. They came seeking protection, but instead of safety, they are met with a system designed to break them. Why I'm saying this? I know it because I have personally lived it. In the UK, the asylum process is not just about legal applications. It is about control, humiliation, and psychological torture for women. One of the most terrifying experiences women face in the Home Office is reporting system. For years, I had to report in person every single week, knowing that any moment I could be detained. The impact on mental health is devastating. The days the days before reporting are filled with anxiety, not knowing if I would come back home, not knowing if I would be or if I would disappear to detention. The fear is relentless. Reporting is framed as a welfare check, but we must call it what it truly is. It's a state-sanctioned psychological warfare. These women already live under strict conditions, in nurse accommodation, barely surviving on limited financial support. The Home Office knows exactly where they are. So why are we forced to report? To keep them in fear. Right. So, and when they arrive at the repositing center, they are checked, their body searched, their belongings are taken, the smartphones are confiscated, a violation that strips them of both their privacy and their dignity. For many, these phones are the only connection to family, to support networks, and to the outside world. This experience is not just humiliating, it is traumatizing, and it is re-traumatizing. And the worst part, the moment those doors close behind you, it doesn't just remind us of prisons, it reminds us of every other door that's locked behind us on this painful journey. The claustrophobic spaces where we have been trapped before, the places where we have been abused and we felt powerless. Every moment we thought we might not survive, that feeling never leaves. For those who do get detained, the psychological impact is devastating. These women are locked up, caged like animals, and their only crime is seeking safety. They relive the trauma of their past abuse, and they develop severe depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So that's what I wrote in a nutshell, and that is part of my experience as a person and the journey and the women that I'm supporting at the moment. This is what they're going through every day. And as we said, I think earlier on, whether it was Jeni or Julie who mentioned that, Jill, that counseling is overstretched. We have a long waiting list here in Manchester. I also volunteer with Manchester Red Crisis. There is a long waiting list for women to get counseling. So with that said, please do join us in October, where we are having a national day of protest, where we're going to be showing solidarity for women who are at Durham. I'll send the link after this event, after this session. And then in Manchester on the 7th of July, we're going to be holding a reporting session together with migrants organized to support women who are reporting, or to give information for people who are supporting people who are reporting about the processes and what is happening. So yeah, I think my time has gone up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was just brilliant, Maggie. So we're going to have a break now for, I don't know, is that 10 minutes, is it? Oh, I'm just looking at my timing. About 5 minutes. 5 minutes, yes. So in that time, what we have to play is a brilliant poem by a woman from Sri Lanka who's based in Swansea, and she's written a series of these. She's still asylum herself. These are not poems about herself, and she's made them into animations. These are poems about an imagination or a dramatization of the insanity to which the system drives someone when their nerves are stretched to the very edge. And it's a stunning piece of work, and I'm really glad that we can show it. So, right, thank you. And you won't see me again. But I won't say anything.
Thank you very much, Jeni, and thank you very much to the speaker. I should actually correct myself when I introduced the speakers, and I said Sandy from the internal speaker, but it's actually Sweeter from she is the internal speaker, and Sandy actually our guest speaker from the first session, as you can see, and we will have Sweeter and Mariam as internal speakers. They will share also their own personal experience, as well as what Maggie did and Sandy. But maybe this is a different, or maybe from a different angle. So yeah, I just correct myself. Maybe I was like under stress to just mix all the names together. Thank you very much, Jill. Thank you very much, Sandy. Thank you very much, Angela. Yes, Angela. Yeah, she's brilliant. And I must say, we have Alphonse here. Alphonse was the director of Women for Refugee Women. Is Alphonse here? He's stationed there. I was like searching because the 3 pages. I was like, yeah, Alphonse. She was the director of Women for Refugee Women, and she was one of our key supporters as well. But sadly, she decided to just leave Women for Refugee Women. But she is still Women for Refugee Women, and she is Sisters Not Stranger. And I was really pleased when I was searching everybody who's familiar there, and I was like, Alphonse here. So yes, Alphonse, thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, this is something we were planning to have, and you see, we're doing really good, Alphonse. Would you want to say welcome to? I'm just thinking about me.
Yeah, I say thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to see all of you, my sisters. That's why I joined, because I'm gonna miss being around women like you who are resilient, who are strong, who are inspirational. Yeah. So thank you for welcoming me, Ipsam, and I'm really glad to be listening to the wonderful women who are here. Yeah,
thank you very much, Alphonse. Thank you very much. Alphonse, she's one of the activists as well, and she's a lived experience person, and yeah, she's very well linked with the community. Yeah, I just want to say that. Thank you. Melinda from City of Century Sheffield, and also she's part of the Lift the Ban campaign. I want to say that as well. So I'll share with you the film now.
At midnight, all my fears come alive. Then I creep from the bed, tiptoe to the kitchen. Oh, my angels are snuggled, safe and dreaming. I fetch a pot of water, wait patiently till the water bubbles. Then I try to catch every fear. By its tail. Slimy little bastards. They always slip between my fingers. And scurry all over my body. Bite my ears. Put salt in my eyes. Pinch my armpits. And throw parties on my veins. Till dawn I chase them. At last I catch one by its sly head. Keeping one hand on it, I slowly lift the pot. Trickles the boiling water onto it. What a relief. The burning feels so soothing.
Hello everybody, and welcome once again to Sisters Not Strangers International Women's Day Conference. Now this section is going to be based on lived experience. Now we're going to be talking about listening to two sisters talking about their lived experience, what they've gone through navigating the asylum system. And I've got two sisters, like I mentioned. So first I'm going to introduce the first sister, who is Sweeta Durrani. Sweeta Durrani was a successful businesswoman, a TV writer, and a presenter in Afghanistan. The British Embassy in Kabul produced a prize-winning documentary about her work as an activist for women's economic rights, leading programs and seminars promoting women's social and economic development. Sweeta is actually a member of the women's group Swansea, and I would now give the space for Sweetheart to come in and talk about experience and the task, the pain of family renewal. Sweetheart, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Yeah, this is Sweeta. I'm really glad I'm here and thank you so much for giving this opportunity for me. So I came from Afghanistan and I came in 2018. It was a big conference in Liverpool. So because I had different activity in Afghanistan, so that's why the UK embassy invited me to come to that conference. So when I came to the UK, and after that I faced lots of challenges, lots of problems, and that's why I couldn't go back to Afghanistan, and it was really hard decision to stay here because because my children, I left my children in Afghanistan and my family, and I had lots of things. I had to stay here and claim for asylum. So it was a really hard decision, but I had to because my life was in danger. So when I stayed, I decided to stay here and I applied for claimed for asylum. But fortunately, I granted refugee status very soon. And the first I thought I can bring my family, especially my children, I can bring very soon. But after a few months, the Home Office refused my children and my family because the age gap between me and my first child, my son, was very small, very short, because when I was very young, I got married and I had my first child. That's why the Home Office didn't believe I have children. So that's why they refused, and they asked for DNA and lots of another tests such as DNA. So when during that process, after that another bad things happened to all of us, not only for me, and COVID start, and everywhere closed, and it was a really hard time for me because I was alone in here, and my children, they were in Afghanistan in very bad situation. So I went the very hard situation. So I was in very tough time. I had very tough time, and finally, as Jill before mentioned, I was in very hard time, and I got mental issue and mental problem because I was hopeless, to be honest, because every door was closed in that time, because many times I tried to contact with my solicitor, but nobody heard me and nobody answer for my question, or nobody can help me. So as Jill mentioned, it was before that I thought I can't talk about my mental health, but it was really hard for me to talk about my mental health or about something like that stuff. But finally, I called for my friends, some of my friends I had in Swansea, and then someone say for me, call for jail, and then she will help you. And I called for jail, and finally she said therapy for me. And after that therapy, I could do something for my life and for my family. And finally, after 5 years, I could bring my children, and after that, I could bring another my family member in the UK. And I just want to say, all that hardship time, and before that I was really active person, and I was like I think I was active and talent, but all that hardship time took away everything from me, and now everything is okay. Now my family is here, my children they arrived, and again I try to start my normal life, but to be honest, still sometimes I think I stuck in that hard time, that tough time, and it is, I think it still I need time to recover myself. And all that long process, not only for me, for all the asylum seeker in this country, and for everybody, even for refugee people, same like me, they granted for refugee status, but still they try to bring their family. This long procedure, it is not good for all of us, because I'm not the person before I used to be, now I'm another person. Maybe I have lots of experience in my life about everything, about the family reunion, about the immigration status, about everything, but and another side of all this experience, I am really, I don't know how can I explain, but I'm not the person I used to be. So yeah, that's me. And thank you so much for everything, and for the people, especially Jeni, Jill, and another people, they helped me. I just want to thank you so much for everything, and this opportunity I can talk today. It's really good for me. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Rita. Like they will say, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. I'm glad you saw the light, and I hope the same for some parents who are praying and wishing their families join them very soon. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
I would like to now introduce the second sister, who is Mariam. Mariam is a member of Sisters Not Strangers, and she's also a member of WAST Manchester. Mariam is an activist campaigning for women's rights. She will be talking based on her experience on resilience, challenges, and achievements so far. Mariam, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. And I'd like to say to all the women, happy belated International Women's Day. Can you hear me? Sometimes my laptop plays games. So if I start to talk about myself, I think we'll be here until the cows come home. So I've just written something on paper, which I will read and allow me to read today. So I'll introduce my organization. It's Women Asylum Seekers Together, based in Manchester. It's a self-led group For women, by the women, and of the women. We are supported by trustees and staff. We advocate to improve the rights of women seeking asylum in the UK. We raise awareness of injustice of the immigration system, and we campaign for a fairer system. So now to talk about myself in a nutshell. I lived through many difficulties before coming to the UK, but I also survived after I arrived. My journey in the asylum system took 16 years of my life, separated me from my children all that time, and tested me in many painful ways. From terrifying beginnings to speaking to you today, I am a living proof that having a vision and setting goals gives you a sense of purpose and allows you to shape your future, even when you lack agency and the path is unclear. Asylum-seeking women experience these kinds of hardship, and we all struggle to heal from our trauma. There is so little emotional and psychological support that women who are already traumatized and who had thought they had reached safety find themselves in another seemingly unending nightmare. I consider myself intelligent woman who was thrown into homelessness and destitution. I could only live one day at a time and had nothing to hope for. Without a fixed address, I slept on sofas and floors when I could find them. I was detained and imprisoned like a criminal without ever having done anything wrong. These things have left deep psychological scars that may never heal. The experience of seeking asylum undermines your sense of value and self-respect. Legal, social, and personal obstacles confront you everywhere. But for me, I could not accept this daily humiliation and anxiety. I could see this wasn't something I faced alone. It was everywhere. So I forced myself to see every challenge as an opportunity to learn resilience, to see every setback as a lesson I could learn from. Every closed door fueled my determination to change the suffering, not only for myself, but for others. It started locally. Two charities in Manchester, Women Asylum Seekers Together and Revive, gave me a platform. I started to speak out and share my story. Some women were traumatized. They did not even have confidence to do this. So I knew that when I spoke out, I spoke not only with my voice, but that of so many others who were voiceless and who needed to be heard. Not allowed to work, I focused my desires and efforts on getting skills in leadership. This enabled me to work with a small focus group in Manchester, where we use action learning to speak about what is not working. I chose to use the limited resources I could get from charities to develop additional management skills. Skills that instilled me the importance of adapting, making the best of what's available, and most of all, planning and carrying through my plans. I spent my time advocating for women's rights and campaigning for a humane asylum system. My campaigning work started to bear fruit. On International Women's Day in 2015, I received an award from Manchester City Council on my campaigning work. In 2016, I was awarded Woman of the Year on the Women on the Move Awards. This was a turning point. Migrants organized an UNHCR, the refugee agency, set up Women on the Move Awards to celebrate migrant women whose positivity and inventiveness to make exceptional contributions to UK society and lead others to inspire social change. Achieving this award gave me access to a network of powerful refugee and migrant women, opened the door to one-on-one mentoring and group support of highly quality leadership development, and offered me public speaking opportunities as a platform to change the narrative of migration and to organize for dignity in solidarity with many other people who believe in justice. I got support from a well-wisher and decided to go into further education. I trained in counseling and psychotherapy, level 2 and 3. I could not proceed further because my immigration status would not allow me. Last year ended my 16-year asylum journey. I was granted my refugee status, free at last with no restrictions. But there's still work to do. We need to see that the women seeking protection receive the support tailored to their needs, especially on mental health and well-being. I get my strength and determination from women seeking asylum who share their sad and traumatic stories, and still they can laugh and smile. I am one of them. Let's harness our unique stories, embrace our diverse experiences, create futures beyond what we thought possible. Thank you all, and I leave you with this. Lead with your heart, manage with your mind, succeed with your story. Who knows the limits of what women can achieve when they can live in an environment that allows them to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Maria. I think most of us will pick one or two things from your story. I want to congratulate you once again. It's not easy. 16 years of one's life is like having a child and seeing that child grow, you understand? So I want to say congratulations. And to us women listening to Mariam, I just want to say power to the women. This is where you see resilience. This is where you see not giving up. This is the story of I will not stop until I get to the finish line. And congratulations, Mariam. You got to that finish line. And I hope those of us still there will definitely get to that finish line. Thank you. Congratulations. Power to the women on this group and to other people, women somewhere else. Thank you. Over to you, Jeni and Ibtipsa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gosh, I've become like really emotional now. So, yeah, it just, yeah, this is why we need to share and talk and be proud of our story and also learn from the challenge and share that challenge with others. So we don't want people to experience what we experience. By sharing those stories, they may learn something out of it. And it's hard to say, like, my family grow like 16, they become like 16 years or 20, and we are away from them and we can't really see that time, living the time together. Maybe mothers here, they can feel that, they know how to watch their kids growing, and then others, they can't really have that feeling or touch. Thank you very much, sweetie. That was another lived experience story, which is a real story that touching us, and I'm so proud of you as well, and I'm sure everybody here, we're all very, really proud of you. I'll show you now creative film, short one, created by us, but actually we have our genius Jeni, so she's also supporting us with all this, our creative person, with another creative person, which is my soul, so I can't just say no. And I'm a bit creative, but not that much as them. But we all here really creative, and I appreciate you here with us and share with you this. And this is the first time this video will be shared, so you are lucky, by the way. And I will try to share I tried my best to be professional with managing this, by the way. So it's called A Story of Mariam.
The story of Mariam. Mariam didn't understand what was happening in her country. She was frightened about staying and frightened about leaving. In the end, she had no choice and left. Not knowing what was happening, she faced many dangers, and she left everything and everyone she knew behind. Mariam arrived with a small bag and a heart bursting with hope. She had left everything behind. Finally, she felt safe. But hope soon dried up. She was lonely without friends or family or work. Every day was empty. Nothing happened as she waited and waited and waited. Her eager smile faded. The day blurred into weeks, weeks into months. She wanted to work, to contribute, to feel useful, to feel like she's existed. She tried again and again, but the answer was always the same. A red X stamped through her dreams, leaving her hands empty, her spirit shriveling. The people that she had hoped would help her didn't care. She filled in endless form, hoping an opportunity to change things. The waiting, the isolation, the helplessness. She felt she was losing grasp of her life. Her heart was tearing itself apart. Mariam felt herself fragmenting, her thoughts scattering like broken glass. The clock still ticked, each sound a painful reminder of the time that was stolen. And so she found herself back where she started, in the waiting room. But now she was a shadow of her former self, lost in an endless loop of uncertainty. The world no longer made sense, twisted into a storm of line and shape that crushed her. Mariam's story is not unique. The asylum system delays and restriction shattered so many human spirits, gouging deep scars into the mental health of people already fragile and desperate. Each of these wants to make something of their life, has something to offer. They are just waiting for the chance.
This is a story. For us, this is a familiar story. For many of us, it's a familiar story. For people, women or people working with asylum seekers or refugee women, they are familiar with this story. And thank you, my son. Thank you, Jeni. Thank you, voiceover. Is that Mariam?
Voiceover is Saba here.
Saba. Thank you, Saba. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is just a summary of our stories, right? And yeah, so if you want to ask any questions to the panels, they are all here. Again, thank you very much, Angela. Thank you very much, Jill. Thank you very much, Sandy. Thank you very much, Maggie. Is Maggie left? She ran away. Oh no, she's here. Maggie. Thank you very much, Maggie. And I wish you can see the energy of Maggie, but one day when we have our in-person, you will see a real Maggie. Thank you very much, Maggie. And thank you, Sweeter, and thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Jeni, and thank you very much, Bridget. And phone me. She's actually on the chat. You can see her posting. And my son. Yes, Lorraine?
It is a question to the counselor. I don't know if we are there yet for the section for questions?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks everyone who spoke. It has been really moving. Thank you so much. I know it's not easy to share our personal stories, but here you are sharing with everyone because you care. So thank you so much. My question goes to Councillor Angela. I really loved the presentation and the way how you are changing things in Sheffield. But I wanted to know if the good practice, for example, what you are doing in Sheffield, is shared amongst other local authorities. If not, what can we do? I'm here in Coventry. We have issues around people who are older, but because they don't have no recourse to public funds, they're in very difficult situations. So what can we do, for example, here in Coventry, so that we can also have something in place for like you are doing in Sheffield? Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you for the question, Lorraine. I'm not saying that things are perfect in Sheffield, and Melinda and somewhere on the call can testify for that because it's a struggle. I think what we have in Sheffield is very good partnerships with the NHS, and we try, but if you just think about yesterday, the announcement about scrapping NHS England, I send the whole NHS local into disarray because they don't really know what the effects on them that could be. So things could change. I think what I said at the end, maybe a bit rushedly, is about having representation and having advocates and people who really believe in this. I was involved with City of Sanctuary before I became a councillor. It's something that I have so dear to my heart. And I've taken that into my political kind of career. So what we need is more people that really care and that kind of drip, very slowly. And it is about advocacy. It is about, my colleagues who do the frontline work, like Melinda was here, I don't know if she's still here. Ibtisam works with people with lived experience. Blesson works with people who've just been granted refugee status. And Melinda does advocacy. Is as community activists, you can get onto your councillors, so the elected politicians, and say, we need to address this. We need to address this issue. And Coventry has a City of Sanctuary, I believe, so you could do that. Is it not? Does it not? I thought it did. But there will be other organizations. So it's about getting...
It has.
Yeah. So it's about getting together and working together. So my boss says, a City of Sanctuary says, we are on the inside, on the edge of the inside. So we don't work against, we work with. So our conversations are positive. We always try to find a solution together. And I think it's just in Sheffield, it just happened that at the moment we have a leadership in terms of officers. There is a cross-party administration where we're having really mature conversations about what kind of a city we want to be. And we've decided that we are a City of Sanctuary, and therefore we're trying to do whatever we can to navigate the system and make the system a system in which sanctuary seekers are welcomed. So that's the kind. So it's perseverance. I mean, you're already doing it because you're all, I am in awe of all of you. Because my journey as a migrant to this country was a lot easier. I just had to get on a plane and come here. Because I had an English boyfriend that, 28 years ago. We're still married, we're married and have 2 children. But it was a very easy journey for me at the time. So I'm in complete awe of all of you that have such difficult journeys to get to where you are now. And you're still fighting for other people. And that is what it is. It's about advocacy. It's about challenging. It's about getting in touch with your politicians and say, what can we do together? How can we make it better? Can I take you with me somewhere where you can see what the situation is really like. And it's just not making it I don't make it party political. For me, it's a human dignity, a human right issue. It's not a party political issue. It's a political issue with a small p rather than a capital P. So it's about perseverance, and it's about there will be very lovely people who happen to be elected politicians from whichever party. It doesn't matter. What I say is, it doesn't matter who does it as long as it gets done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angela. Maggie?
Okay, thank you. To add on there to Lauren's question, one thing that we have done in Manchester, we have worked collaboratively with all organizations that are supporting people who are seeking asylum and refugees. And Greater Manchester Immigration Aid Unit last year released a document about expectations of Greater Manchester, where all the organizations contributed on that document about what our people are expecting with the new MPs that are going to be elected. And as a follow-up, we wrote to all our MPs together, and we asked to sit down with them, tell them about what people are going through, trauma-informed approach, abuse in reporting centers, and all other issues that we're having in Manchester. And it was more welcomed than when we were doing it individually, whereby we were kind of like writing to the MP, asking for an appointment. When we approached them as a collective, I believe out of 27 MPs since November, December, we have sat down on one-to-one with about 22 MPs, and each organization was kind of picking up one issue that is at heart to say this is what we want to see changes on. For instance, with the MP in Salford, we asked them if they have been to Dallas Court, if they know how people are treated over there. So that was one of our asks. So I believe that change can easily happen if we work collectively, or where you are, you work together and approach, whether it's a combined authority, whether it's the council or the MPs, in a collaborative manner. That is one of the things that I was going to share when I was speaking, but I was just mindful of the time to say, on our own, it's really difficult to kind of achieve and get to where we want to be, but it's really possible if we kind of like do everything together.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Melinda, do you want to say how we doing it as Angela said? It's mute, unmute. Oh, sorry, Melinda. Yeah, after Melinda, Amira, do you have a similar question? So then we can have Melinda. Or Melinda, will you let Amira, then you?
It's okay. You can speak and then I will ask the question. It's not related to that.
Okay.
You can go first.
Okay, so I'll go first then. So I'm not, I was lucky that my mother brought me to the country, and I hear her pain, and a lot of your stories are very similar to that. And as the oldest of my family, I did a lot of the lawyer work, a lot of the court hearings, a lot of the translating. So I'm the product of what you guys go through. I understand you guys are talking about, your children and how they feel that pressure. I understand completely how those children feel. You grow a lot more quicker and you adapt a lot more quicker than your age mates. Sometimes you can feel a bit more different when you see situations that your friends get into that you would react differently, but that's probably just because of the maturity kicking in, because you had to adapt a lot more quicker. Is my connection okay? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So what I wanted to get involved in this is because at the moment I'm doing my financial advising exams, and I've graduated from Swansea University actually, with economics and finance. So I understand you guys are advocating and really going out there to put these changes in place, but I really want to understand what work is really
think we lost you.
My mother came to the country.
Say again. Say again. The last
Is
part.
it okay now?
No. Yeah. Say again, the
So
last part.
what I
Yeah.
want to. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Right. So what I want to understand is what work is being done internally, as I'm with my mother and maybe with some of you guys when you come to the country. Finance is a really big thing. You don't know where you're going to be able to get the money from, or to be able to even rent and even start off that journey. So I would like to understand what's being done. So then if I can help, as I will be qualified very soon, then I can help with the finance side of helping them understand the difference of what an ISA is and things that they can do to help their children when they come to the country. So I want to understand what internal jobs being done in regards to.
We're losing you, but I think we understand the point. She's in the parking, so you can see her. She's in the parking space. Anyone can answer this question, the finance things. Well, first of all, yeah, thank you very much for coming and joining us, and also well done for the journey you are taking. And it's lovely to see how we are changing our future when we come to this country and we are really desperate and we have to rebuild our life from the scratch, whether the language, whether education, whether the weather. I don't know who can actually take this weather. So it's a lot of things we have to adopt to rebuild our life. And yes, well, please get in touch. That's what I can say to you. But as a coalition, I can tell you we are the members, we are well-established organizations. So we've got our own way of doing the work. But as a coalition, we are not registered yet. This is the plan for the coming 2 years, and we have a plan to be registered. We can't access lots of funds because we are not registered, even though we've got collectively, we've got really strong profile, but because we are not registered, so we can't really do much. However, we've got some small organization, foundation who really believe in us and believe in supporting us. So this is just something about us. I don't know if this is relevant, but you can get in touch, please. And we really, we will need lots of help, particularly if it is free support. And yeah, I will, Lorraine, shall we call Melinda then you?
Yeah, that's fine. I wanted to comment on the money kind of like experiences. Yeah.
Melinda.
First of all, thank you so much for such incredible, meeting. You were really inspiring and powerful. I know many of you, and I consider you my sister. But it's an honor, having the opportunity to work with you and learn from you. Or as I work with Angela. I work with Iftisam. My role is the advocacy and system change coordinator at City of Sanctuary Sheffield. And I think it's connected to what you have been mentioning today. There were some questions about how we escalate, the issues in the asylum system. This is part of my role. I have been working in some cases, not recourse to public fund cases with Angela, and also, the general challenges that particularly women, because we cannot forget that when we talk about people seeking asylum, people seeking sanctuary, always women are in a more disadvantaged position, and we need to recognize that. I think I recommend to some of you who were making some question about that. First of all, prepare the evidence, contact your MPs, contact your council or local authority, because you can do that, and get proof of that. And if they continue to refuse that, there are other mechanisms. But it's important that we continue to escalate and to challenge those issues. This is my experience with some of the cases that have been working. On. Many of you have been mentioning about the right to work. This is I think that we are all aware. This is a national campaign in Sheffield. We have been working with Iftisam
and many other organizations to try to join effort to the national campaign. But we know that this is a cycle, and we know that everything is connected. And until we don't get the right to work, nothing is going to change. When we talk about problems in the asylum accommodation, when we talk about poverty, when we talk about discrimination, all these issues are connected. And the only solution that we will have to see is giving people the right to work. Because this is, again, many of you said, this is not about money. This is about dignity. You know, how come the government, how come MP, politicians talk about integration when people cannot even afford to pay to travel a bus to go to the city center? I'm not going to mention more because we don't have time. But I think that we all know how important is this campaign. I always invite people to join, to continue to join the national coalition and to keep fighting together. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Melinda. Melinda, she joined us in our in-person Liverpool conference as well. So she's our sister. Well, we are not stranger at all of you. Lorraine?
Yeah, I'll be right quick by just listing if I understood her question. So the problems that I find with money, firstly, like I come from Malawi, so the currency in Malawi and the currency in pound, they are different. But when I came here, £1 in my head is, you think like it's still one kwacha, which is not the same. So I guess there is need for like awareness, financial awareness or something like that. But also we need entrepreneurial skills. Some people were doing business maybe in our home countries, but then to translate that, and maybe sometimes at home you just do it because you've seen your mother doing it, but then there's a lot what you can learn about running business and stuff like that. But also how to save. I've been struggling since I got my papers 2022. I can't travel to go and meet my family, and my family can't come. I don't have the money to do that. So how do we save money to be able to fulfill what we want to fulfill? But it also around the asylum allowance that we get, £40 per week, because you left the family at home, you start sharing with them. Many people, they just send that whole of it because you are like, I don't want my children to go to bed hungry because I know how they are suffering. But you have also created the problems here for yourself, because then so where is the balance? And then there's also issues around exploitation and slavery. If you are undocumented, you don't have papers, you are trying to survive, but within that you are treated as a slave, and all of that. But the final thing, I guess, is how do we prepare women before we get our status, so that when we get our status we can be able to make money? So how does that look like? So I have questions around that, because all of these are things that I have grappled with. I'm always thinking maybe there's something I missed out, because why am I still struggling 2 years after I have my status? I'm still in poverty, so here we go.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm telling you, you're still young in terms of receiving your status. I received my status long time ago. And I spend all my money on education. So I paid for all my education till the PhD level. And I'm telling you, till now, I can't tell. Honestly, my family just sent me text yesterday asking for support, and I really can't support them. So with all this education, with all these certificates, I'm still doing this small bit here and a small bit here and small bit here. And till now, I'm telling you, with all my degrees, I've got 4 degrees, and I'm telling you that got like a box of certificates. And with all that and national, international, UN, name it, experience, until now, I can't save that much money. And I can't send money to my family because we are in a place where things is not easy. But yeah, try your best to learn how to manage your small amount of money. That's money management. Angela and Jill, and we're nearly there.
Just very quickly, it just kind of maybe a suggestion, and on that, I don't think that is like money management. I don't think that is something that is just for people on the asylum journey. I think it's something that we are not taught, and so unless you learn it from your parents or you've been to a school, it's something that is really difficult. What I would suggest is to see if there are any organization that do any kind of training on that. The maybe Citizen Advice Bureau, but I'll do a bit of a research and see if there are any national organization that do that kind of financial literacy, I suppose. One of the rules about savings, they say you're supposed to save between 10 and 20% of everything you earn. It's good management. So if you have £1, put 10p aside, or 20p if you can afford it. I think that's what the rule is supposed to be. But also, I suggest to gain experience, volunteer for an organization. Lots of our volunteers at City of Sanctuary are people who are still in the asylum system, or they just had their status, and you gain a lot of skills. So I have 2 finance volunteers. I'm an accountant, so I have 2 volunteers at the moment that support me, and I'm hoping to train them up so that they can get jobs. So volunteering is a really good step up to have some experience with the UK work system to then progress into working, because that's one of the things lots of people who've been on the journey don't have. They might have degrees or experience working in business in their own country, but what employers in this country want to see is experience in the UK. I would really suggest, if you can, volunteer for a charity shop or a charity in the place where you live. It gives you you make new friends, new experiences, but also it's something to have on your CV if you're looking for jobs eventually. And join the Lift the Ban coalition if you can.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Lorraine, she is really powerful woman. She volunteered everywhere, as well as Mariam, many of us as well here. And she's got lots of experience as well. And think, me and Lauren, maybe I will say we need more money, not more volunteering, and get money for our work, not the free service. Can we have Jill, and then that will be the last question if you don't have any other questions. So I'll have Jill, then I can just close.
And I think Anita.
Where is it? I can't see.
Anita, she left in the message in the chat today. She has something to say.
Okay, so Jill, Anita.
Yeah, I concur with what Angela said. Actually, we actually have a volunteering funded project, so we would train volunteers, and we would hopefully give them, we have to do open recruitment for our funded posts, but if we've had a volunteer working with us and there's an opportunity for a staff position, we would probably prioritize them, given that they show the skills, etc. I think that's the way we work. And often I would say probably the charitable organisations in Swansea would work in the same way. And also I want to just say that generally within the counselling I might do some exit strategy, which would be linking clients to different organisations with opportunities, also teaching people just put £1 in one pot there, maybe 50p in that, 50p in that. Get into the habit of saving. It's critical, not just for asylum seekers, refugees, for us all. It really is critical. And yeah, I think you've also got to be creative with your CV or your life experience and really build yourself up. If you're a mum, you've got management experience. You manage a home. Use that. Use your creativity to make the best of yourself.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Can you have Anita, yeah? Anita?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi,
Hello, everyone. I just want to say something small about the saving, what Lauren said. And for us to save, I've noticed there is something called ISA for everyone in the bank. You know, if you have your savings, it will make you spend, like, you know that you have something here. So if you need maybe some clothes or shoe, you can go in for that money. But if you have the ISA, you save it in the bank and you are not allowed to take it. You have to go in like a contract for saving for 1 year or 2 years, and you are not going to touch that money. So if you do that one, I think for future reference, if you need that money for 2 years, you do that one and it can help you benefit more. But if you do the savings, you just touch it. You can go in for it anytime. So that's my this thing. So I hope everybody try it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita. Yes, I agree with Angela and I agree with everybody. Saving is very important. That's how I saved, and I paid for my education. So I paid for my diploma, my master degree. I paid for my PhD, and I paid for all my traveling with very little money. But I'm really good at saving. So saving, money management is really important. And but I was good from Yemen, so it's not something I learned here. So I was really good from Yemen with saving and how to, because I was working as a financial manager for a big international organization, and I know how the money works. So I learned that from that experience, and it works. I'm telling you, it works. So £1, save 50p, save £1, it works. That's how I got all my education, and this is how I built my own life by myself, and it works. And then this is everything from me and from us. I just want to say, this is really incredible gathering, and I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. So I'm really amazed by the number. So more than 66. So we got many people registered, and I got many emails for people apologize and they asked for recording, which is really, really successful. And thank you very much for SNS members for putting this together, for your all time, the guest speakers, the participants, and your energy, your commitment to this cause. Your presence here tonight is really clear, is a powerful solidarity to believe that every voice matters, and that together we can actually create change. So tonight we didn't just listen, as you can see, we connected, we shared, and we strengthened the movement for justice and mental health support for asylum seeker women, and for us as refugee women, and us as women in general. So the stories we heard from Mariam, from Sandy, from Sweeter, and everybody, all the voices, is just a feeling. It's not just it's not script. It's not someone did this story for them. So the stories we heard, the knowledge exchange, and the commitment made are not just words. They are seeds of action. So let's please take this moment beyond this Zoom room and into our community policy, and also just remember, it's life, it's people's life, people traveling here and make this journey. It's not just for fun. And please remember, no struggle is faced alone, no voice should go unheard, and no woman should ever have to fight for dignity in isolation. So Sisters Not Stranger means exactly that. We stand together, we lift each other, and we continue to push forward. So thank you for being part of this journey. May we all go forward with renewing strength, compassionate and determination. Wishing you a peaceful night, and until we meet again, please stay in touch. We're going to meet again in person soon. And yes, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed it. And thank you very much again. And please stay in touch. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.